Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to your June soul session. I'm Princess India if you're new, and if you're family, welcome back, my friend, and what's not all whatever. So, anywho, we're going to go ahead and jump into you guys' cards and see what is going on with you all for the month of June. We're going to be looking at an overall energy as well as, as well as a challenge. And then we're going to be getting into a more specific spread to look at what is going on with you all for the month of June. So the first card out, your overall energy, we have the Temperance card. That is Sagittarius energy. This is challenged by the Three of Pentacles. I feel like that hasn't come out in like forever. So once is my kid about to walk? Excuse me 1 second, Aquarius. It is summertime, and I am probably going to need to accept that I'm going to be interrupted a lot more than I would like. But anyway, I don't even remember where I was. But your overall energy is Temperance in the reverse. I don't even think I said that much. We're like 51 seconds in. But Temperance in the reverse is your overall energy. That's Sagittarius energy, and your challenge being the Three of Pentacles. So what it's looking like for me, Aquarius, in the month of June, the thing that you guys are going to be battling with the absolute most is a conflict between, and I'll say this in a very DBT way, a conflict between your emotional mind as well as your rational or logic mind, and a tendency to more or less kind of fall to either side of the proverbial Likert scale, as many of you guys know I always talk about. And then there's also, of course, with Temperance, issues with emotional instability, impatience, you know what I'm saying? Emotional conflicts, and whether that's just within yourself or with other people. So the thing I would say is this is kind of a forewarning a little bit, because I feel how it may feel for you all in the month of June is kind of like you're being attacked by a lot of stuff. Because I feel coming into the month, you guys are already kind of on shaky ground a little bit. And I feel that just kind of different things that are transpiring throughout the course of the month of June may kind of tip you over to either edge. It kind of feels to me of, lack of a better term, I just said edge, but it just kind of feels that Aquarius is coming into the month of June already on edge, like you're kind of already not with the shits, if I could say it that way. So you're kind of like on thin ice in a sense of how it is that you guys are feeling internally. And I feel it's a lot of stuff that's going to be kind of coming at you guys that can potentially kind of push you to either side of the Likert scale. But the thing I would say to kind of watch out for, if you have a tendency to, drink or overeat, compulsively shop, I would kind of watch out for those things this month, because I feel those are behaviors you may kind of partake in to satiate these less than stellar feelings. And really the solution for both, like I said, speaking very DBT-ish, wise mind is the solution to both sides of the Likert scale of either being too overly emotional and reactionary to things, or going to the logical side and just being, facts and evidence, and not, taking in emotions whatsoever. Your key to success this month, I would say, is really through operating in wise mind. If you want more information on that, let me know in the comments and I will post something about it, a little worksheet or something, even though I'm behind on worksheets. This is why y'all need to join the network, because it's so much easier for me to upload stuff over there. But anywho, but with your challenge being the Three of Pentacles, I do feel that another thing that can kind of come up this month is kind of feeling alone with whatever it is that you guys are kind of grappling with in the month of June. You very well could be feeling like you're kind of bearing the burden alone. Like there's not really anyone to help you guys. And I mean, honestly, to be real, looking at this overall energy, if there's any issues kind of with codependency and stuff like that, this would kind of be spirit intervening on your path to help you out. Whereas typically when you find yourself in situations like this, if you know you got codependent tendencies, and you usually rely on certain people for certain stuff, like, somebody you can call and kind of like vent to, or, you know, somebody who's like the ultimate co-signer in your life. You know what I'm saying? I feel the challenge may very well be this month that those kind of pacifications that you have, like pacifiers that you have, that those people, situations, circumstances may not necessarily be available, which is why I was saying to kind of watch out if you're a person who has a tendency to kind of overindulge in eating or drinking or shopping or gambling. I mean, I don't know, you know, whatever your vice is, if you have a tendency to kind of lean towards those things, I feel that there's a lack thereof of people support this month, that there is the potential to kind of resort to those type of things. So watch out for that. But I feel the reason why you would be in a position to where, you know, there isn't necessarily like people contact. And I feel the need to specifically say that if there's an issue with codependency, the reason why those people would be unavailable, I don't feel this is anything that they know, like they're in cahoots and they're like, oh, you know, Aquarius is going through something, so let's just not be available. I don't feel it's anything like that. But I feel the timing is working out that way, because the purpose of what you guys are encountering in the month of June is to kind of bring to the forefront or bring to the surface what the issue actually is and how it is that you're utilizing stuff, things, substances, or people to satiate you whenever this stuff kind of arises. So it's more or less giving you an opportunity to not numb out by going to either side of the Likert scale, you know what I'm saying, and gaining that objectivity, like I was saying, with wise mind, to be able to see like, wow, when XYZ happens, I have a tendency to do this, or I, you know, get this particular way. And the key is to kind of come to a middle ground between those two extremes moving forward. And I hope and pray that's making sense. Now, getting into your more specific spread, your central energy that's representing you guys for the month of June, we have the 9 of Cuppies in the reverse. Your past influence is the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. Your hidden influence, okie dokie, we have the Tower in the reverse, and that is Scorpio energy. Your above energy, which is your potential outcome. Okay, we have the Queen of Cuppies. And then moving forward into the latter part of June, what to look out for. Okay, why is it stalking us? We have the Knight of Pentacles. That keeps coming out. So here is the dealio, Aquarius. Coming into June from May, the latter part of May, we have the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. That kind of says to me that there's a missed opportunity here. So there was an opportunity for you guys in the mid to latter part of May where you had a chance to start something new. Yeah, I mean, it also could be money that's delayed or money that was squandered. You know what I'm saying? So in the latter part of May, and this kind of goes back to me with this whole vices thing, this could have started in May. And, you know, only you guys would know this, just kind of backtrack and looking at your behavior and things. You guys could have started feeling kind of off kilter in May and starting to spend like, you know, exorbitant amounts of money. I think I said that word right. Or, you know, just kind of frivolously spending on things. For others of you, like I was saying, it could be a potential missed opportunity. So it's something that you guys could have had the opportunity to invest in. Not necessarily monetarily, it can be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I feel this more in the context of there was an opportunity to invest in something that I feel would have potentially helped you guys get to like this middle road energy that I was speaking about. But I feel that opportunity was missed. You know what I mean? Or it's something you guys could have invested in financially, and like having the opportunity to have, I don't know why I always do this. When I sit Indian style for too long, my leg starts to go numb. And I always end up sitting back down that way. But anywho, something you guys could have had the opportunity to invest in, but I feel just kind of with the chaos and calamity of what has been going on or how it is that you've been feeling, that opportunity was missed. But I do feel in a sense that it's almost like whatever this is, like I said, it doesn't matter if it's an actual financial investment or if it's just energetic, but I feel this is something that kind of could have fast tracked a lot of what it is you guys are going to be dealing with in the month of June. However, I don't necessarily feel if it would have worked out that it would have been a good thing for you, because I feel the lesson you guys are going to be learning in June, had this worked or had you not overspent money, you would have not learned the lesson anyway. It kind of reminds me of similar to what I was saying to Capricorn in their soul session, where it's like, regardless of what happens in the meantime, in between time, the outcome is still going to be the same. But I feel for you guys, the difference with that is, if this would have worked out, it would have given you the opportunity to put whipped cream on shit and kind of, you know, make this last a little longer without addressing the shit in so many words. And I'm seeing the same thing in you guys' hidden influence with this tower in the reverse. And I'll get to that in a second. But I feel whatever it is in the month of May, whatever it is that you guys did, invested in something, missed an opportunity with something, overspent money, you know, went on a whole binge with eating, whatever the case, I feel that was kind of needed in a sense to get us to this particular place. Because where it is that you guys are showing up in your central energy with this 9 of Cups in the reverse, you're in the month of June and you're clear of your discontentment with your life, your situation at present. So regardless of what it is that you've achieved up to this particular point, if that's, you know, the case, like if everything in your life is fine, but you're still not happy, that's the main issue that needs to be addressed here. It's the fact that you guys are not happy. And of course, I think a lot of times in life, we like to tell ourselves that it's circumstances. Like we always tell ourselves, like, it's the circumstance, what's happening outside of us as to why it is that we're not happy or we're not content. If I made more money, if I worked at a different place, if I had a better car, if I had a nicer house, if I had a better partner, whatever the case, we're always saying that things would be better off if external circumstances change. But in reality, we have the power to change our circumstance with ourselves. I know that that sounds crazy to a lot of people a lot of times, but it's more or less like a perspective type of thing. But I feel in truth, even going back to this temperance, it's like you guys feeling out of sorts or feeling unbalanced really has nothing to do with your external circumstance. It has everything to do with you as the individual. You know what I'm saying? So I feel what needs to be addressed is this 9 of Cups energy, this discontentment or this dissatisfaction that you're feeling with life, and kind of digging deeper to see what the root of this is. Like, what is the reason why that you're really, you know, upset, or the reason why you're really disappointed, or you're not, you know, truly fulfilled in so many words. But the hidden influence here, which I feel is very important with this tower in the reverse, with this being in your hidden influence, this tower in the reverse is really speaking to like a refusal to change, right? So if we look at this as mindsets or behavioral patterns, because I see the tower as like mental strongholds. So it's like, you know, pathologies and patterns that we're caught into. It's more or less because a lot of people will look at the tower like dodging a bullet in a sense, you know, and I feel that the bullet that one would be trying to dodge is change. So at the root of all of this, Aquarius, there's something about the self that needs to change. And I feel that that thing that needs to change is the root of the dissatisfaction, is the root of the codependency, is the root of why one relies on substances or vices or what have you. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, addictive behavioral patterns or whatever, compulsive shopping, you know, whatever it is specifically. I feel those things are kind of like band-aids, if I could say it that way. They're kind of crutches. They're things that you're relying on to put whipped cream on shit, as opposed to dealing with the literal shit. But it's understandable because nobody likes change. You know what I'm saying? But I feel the longer that this is kind of sidestepped or ignored, and the longer that we continue to use external stuff to kind of satiate dealing with the real problem, this is going to continue to progress into the foreseeable future, which is why I was saying with the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse, why it's best. So if you guys are, you know, watching this now and you're feeling a way about an opportunity that you missed out on in May, I feel that that's something you should actually celebrate, because this is something that you can actually confront and deal with now. Whereas you may have, if that would have worked out, then you would have had to deal with this 3 months from now or 6 months from now, if that's making sense. Now, with our potential outcome being the Queen of Cuppies, you guys know for me, that is my therapist card. So I would say this, and I'll say this two ways, because the Queen of Cups can also speak to self-nurturing, and kind of confronting repressed emotions, or things like if you were in a survival kind of mode, things that you've kind of repressed because, the particular time frame that you were in prior to this, it wasn't the most idyllic time frame to kind of confront, deeper things or changes that need to be made, or repressed emotions. So we could look at it that way. But because I'm a therapist in real life, I am biased. And I feel that the best environment in which to deal with repressed emotions or changes that need to be made, or aligning with wise-minded things of the sort, are, properly done with a friendly local neighborhood therapist. It does not have to be me. There is lots of us all throughout the world. You know what I'm saying? So go on over to Psychology Today, or click the link in my description box to, get with better help. You know what I'm saying? But with this outcome being the Queen of Cups, I do see it in a dual sense. I do feel it would behoove you guys to, get a friendly local neighborhood therapist. But I feel what this is really saying in the bigger scheme of things is, by the end of June, it's you guys, whether you want to or not. Because I kind of feel this in a sense of like, if you don't deal with your problems, they're going to deal with you kind of vibe. That's kind of the gist that I'm getting. You know what I mean? And the reason why, like I say, I think it's good to work with a therapist. I mean, hell, just do some little 6-session CBT. If you're about that life, do 12 sessions of CBT. You know what I'm saying? I feel that's good, because when we try to kind of sort through emotions on our own, that quote by Einstein always comes in: you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it, type of deal. And a lot of times I've watched people, throughout my life, get kind of overwhelmed, because when you start digging around and stuff and trying to process it, and you don't necessarily have the skills to help you process it, you can end up becoming overwhelmed, or you could just totally delude yourself, because when it gets uncomfortable, you're just like, I'm not the problem, they're the problem. And there's nothing wrong with me. If stuff in my life would change, I'd be better. You know what I'm saying? So I feel it would help you guys out to kind of have someone help you through it, because it would help you to be, personally accountable in a sense. But by the end of the month, whether it's you choose to do this with someone or not, that's just my suggestion. You guys are going to be confronting what this Tower in the reverse is. So it may come to you in the form of somebody calling you out. It may come in the form of like an epiphany or an aha that you have, where it just kind of clicks and you start to kind of see your behavioral patterns, and you're like, I do be doing it. You know what I'm saying? But the reason why that's coming to the surface in the form of this discontentment that you guys are feeling with this 9 of Cups is because it's time for you guys to kind of face the music, face the truth, so that you're able to overcome this. Because it reminds me very much of like 8 of Cuppies kind of energy, to where, and I mean, if you're a tarot, I don't want to say connoisseur, but if you're a tarot person, kind of like, I don't want to say it's the secret of the 8 of Cups. It's not really, a secret to anyone who's very much into tarot, but there's a wraparound effect in the 8 of Cups, to where it's kind of like you walk away from something, but you inadvertently walk right back into it, like in another form, in a sense. And that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up on. You know what I'm saying? To where if this isn't confronted, like you're like, it's like being on a path, and you've been given this opportunity several times before this, right? So this isn't like a one-time thing. This is just another cycle that you guys are in. But it's like you have the opportunity to confront something and face it head on and see it for what it is. But you have free will, so you can choose to not do that again. But the wraparound effect means that this is going to end up finding you in the future with something else again. So this is just yet another opportunity that's being offered to you to be able to see like the root of your discontentment or the root of your what's the word I'm looking for? Like indecision within yourself. Like, what is the root of this imbalance in your life, or why it is that you're going to extremes, why you're existing only in your emotions, why you're existing only in logic? It's like that's a buffer and a protection mechanism, because in order for you to be balanced, you're going to have to confront whatever it is that you're avoiding. And this, in so many words, this month is giving you an opportunity yet again to face what it is that you've been avoiding. Now, what to look out for moving forward with the Knight of Pentacles, and I want to clarify this. Where's the deck? What this is really speaking to, I want to see what it is specifically, but in general, what this Knight of Pentacles is speaking to is saying that, you know, moving forward with however it is that you guys elect to move forward, that it's going to require some commitment and some diligence. So if I were to say this in like a therapeutic context, it's like if you guys were to go to, I don't know, one session with a therapist, and say this therapist is so dope that in the first session you have like several epiphanies and you see like what the problem is, right? And you're like, holy shit, I had no idea. Or even, you know, you're watching this video with this therapist that plays with tarot cards and, you know, you have this epiphany and you're like, holy shit, I know exactly what it is that she's talking about. I do that, right? Where this Knight of Pentacles is important is saying that you need to kind of stick with it, right? Like just having an epiphany or an aha moment isn't enough, right? Because you actually need to do the work. I really wish, you know, I'd be out of a job, but if, you know, breakthroughs and aha moments just completely alter the course of people's lives, there would be no need for me or anyone else in my field. You know what I'm saying? There would be no need for life coaches or, you know, tarot readers or anything. Because once you have the aha, everything would be changed. But that's unfortunately not how it works. You know, when you have that aha moment of what the problem is, you still need the skill set. It's kind of like coming to a cliff and your aha moment is like, I need to get to the other side. And it's like, how am I going to get to the other side? The aha moment is like, I need a bridge, right? I need to have a bridge, and the bridge will get me from this side of this cliff to the other side of the other cliff, right? And if we were to just go on aha moments, then it would be going to walk off of the cliff and never building the bridge. But if we decide like, okay, the aha moment is the solution, is we need a bridge, there's steps after that. What material do you need? Are you going to do a rope bridge? Or are you going to do a wood bridge, right? Do you need somebody who's on the other side that's going to help you out? Like, you're going to need a blueprint and getting your materials and charting out a plan and a strategy on how you're going to build the thing. You know what I'm saying? Or if you don't know how to build bridges, it's like you're going to have to learn how to build a bridge. So that's what this Knight of Pentacles is talking about, of what to look out for moving forward. So when we're coming into the latter part of June, whatever aha moments that you guys have in the month of June, there's a need to know that that's just half the battle. You know what I'm saying? Like there's time, energy, and effort that's going to have to be put in order for you to get to the ultimate goal. Like just having the knowledge of what the problem is half the battle. I'm going to take this one. Oh, wow. That is exactly it. Okay, we have the priest. I don't know if you guys can see it because these cards are hella small. We have the priest. So that's literally it, dude. It's like this is speaking to that order that I was talking about with our hypothetical bridge. And honestly, this is interesting for this to come up because I'm actually working on a think piece about this. And it very much has a lot to do with this dyad and the temperance reverse. So I'm writing this piece, and it's about how it's very similar to a piece I wrote before that was called Don't Throw Baby Jesus Out with the Bathwater. It's similar to that in context to where, and I see this in the spiritual community like a lot, like I think more than anywhere else. I see this most prevalent in the spiritual community where, you know, in religion, you know, there's principles that guide your life, right? So if we were to look at Catholicism, shout out to all my Catholics out there. In Catholicism, it's a lot of, rules and sacraments and like all the things, like ways to do things, like rituals in a sense, right? But and that's like a really good example of like this foundation of like principled living. But it's like in the midst of these rituals, each ritual is symbolic of a principle, you know what I'm saying? And the goal as you're learning a religion is to excavate that principle, and the principle becomes like, the guiding light in your life in so many words. And it's not really so much about, you know sit down, stand up, sign the cross. You know what I'm saying? It's not about the actual ritual. It's about the principle that the ritual represents. You know what I mean? And that's like how you grow spiritually. So you don't necessarily need, a scripture to tell you what to do, a preacher, pastor, teacher, rabbi, whatever, to tell you what to do every second of the day, because you have these guiding principles to run your life, so you can actually make more informed decisions based on these principles of whatever your religious belief system is. But the thing that this piece is talking about, which is very relevant to this contrast I'm seeing with these cards, is a lot of times in the spiritual community, people will completely throw away like principles from their like religion, and kind of start from, ground zero of trying to build a belief system. And that belief system is devoid of like principles. So whenever one finds themselves like in crisis or in a challenging situation, you don't really have anything to pull from or to go off of how things work out in certain situations. And even if you're looking at it like, to make this make more sense, if we were to think about this like doctors, right? Like any doctor that's out there, or nurse, right? If a person cuts themselves and they're bleeding, it's like how to stop the bleeding is a principle. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter where you're bleeding from. It doesn't matter how it is that you got cut or what cut you. It's the same principle that you follow to stop bleeding. You feel what I'm saying? And that's the same way it is with spiritual beliefs. It's like, regardless of what situation, those principles will be the same in any situation or circumstance for any person, for, any rhyme or reason, right? So what this is saying to me with that, that ordered living that comes with the Knight of Pentacles, is more or less telling you that there's something in your life, Aquarius, or in your lifestyle that isn't necessarily guided by structure, order, or principles, right? Now, your life doesn't have to necessarily be ruled by it to the sense where it's like, oh, I can't do anything. That's, again, the middle road or wise mind. That's that middle way in between two extremes. You know what I'm saying? Because this side of the Likert scale says, fuck all rules and principles. We don't do that shit over here. The other side of the Likert scale is like, all we do is rules and principles. And if it's not in alignment with the rules and principles, then it's like, we're not doing it, right? Those are two sides of one coin, right? It's extremism. But when we're in the middle road, it's like we have more freedom when we're living in this gray area, to where we have a proverbial guiding principle. That's something that's keeping us like with boundaries, like on this pathway, but it's not rigid to where, you know what I'm saying? I hope and pray that that makes sense. That's like the ultimate sense of balance. And something I always say, and have been saying for years, when temperance in the reverse ever comes up, it's like balance. Balance is not rigid. You know what I'm saying? Nor is it just leaving things all fugazi like, right? I liken it to driving a car. It's like, if you're on the interstate and you're trying to stay in your lane, you are not holding your steering wheel like this for dear life with no, changes. You're not just not holding the steering wheel and just letting the car go wherever. In order for you to stay in your lane, you're making minor adjustments to the wheel in order to stay straight. And that's much like what balance looks like. Balance is not a state that we're fighting to get to, and once we're there, we're just staying there for the foreseeable future. It's a continuous, adding and subtracting in order for us to stay straight. And I feel that's what this Knight of Pentacles and this Priest card is speaking about. It's like that modification that's happening to maintain this stasis. That's what it is that's lacking. It's either Aquarius is holding on too strong to the wheel, or you're letting it go entirely. And there needs to be like, and I mean, much like with, I mean, not in this card, but temperance usually, he's like mixing the two cups, you know what I'm saying? But there needs to be like this, mixing of these two extremes in order to get this new stasis, like a very alchemical transformation, but in a very practical way of marrying these two extremes, right? So that's the balance that I feel that this Tower in the reverse is speaking to. There needs to be a change because Aquarius has been living in a state of extremism. And there's a need for you to kind of, temper it, for lack of better terms, to find this middle road between these two extremes. But the thing I feel that's been lacking from that is, I don't want to say just flat out principles, but I mean, that's like the root of it. But it's like guiding principles. Let me say it that way. That's a better way of saying it. It's like guiding principles and structured order, and there being like an unfolding of things over a particular period of time. You know what I'm saying? And this is something I feel that happens to all of us. It's like, you can get to a certain point, and I feel like as a clinician, shout out to all my clinicians out there. I feel like as a clinician, depending on, because I know the LCSWs that work with me, they have to renew their license every year. I have to renew mine every 2 years. But I feel like whether you renew your license every year or every 2 years, it's like you get humbled every year or every 2 years, because in order for us to renew our license, we have to do, and I think it's the same thing like with hairstylists and stuff too, you have to do continued education units. So we can't ever get to a point as a clinician where we ever think like we know everything. You know what I'm saying? And I even say the same thing with doing DBT. It's like DBT is really, really big on, research and like updates in the research and stuff like that. So it's like you stay humble because you never can get to a point where you're like, I know everything. You know what I mean? And not saying that you're at a place, Aquarius, to where you're like, I know everything, but I feel that you guys have been doing stuff a certain way for so long that it hasn't been fact checked. And like I was saying, with people that are in your life, they're just kind of co-signing, and they may not necessarily be calling you out on stuff, but there's never really a time to kind of sit back and think, is there something that needs to be addressed? Because it's just the thought that it's not, a problem. You feel what I'm saying? But I feel like now is a great time to do that. But I'm digging in this bag because I got this idea with Capricorn, because, I'm obsessed with core values and all. So I have my bag of core values, and I said for each sign I was going to pick a card for them. That's a core value card for your core value for the month of June. So let me pick one for you guys. Okay. Oh my God, that's creepy. You guys value Aquarius' humility. Child, look, this is a big old bag of values, and I'm just sitting up here digging. And the definition says to be modest and unassuming. That's cray. We were just talking about freaking humility. What are the odds? Okay. So Aquarius, that is your value for the month. Learn about humility. I don't know, write an essay about it. If you want some, I might do that. I think, because y'all know I'm obsessed with journal prompts. I might do that for everybody. For each sign's core value, that like I give you guys journal prompts on whatever the word is that you guys got. So let me know in the comments, Aquarius, if you guys want journal prompts on cultivating more humility in your life. Let me know in the comments. And just like I told Capricorn, I found out from YouTube that if you're looking at me on your phone, if you're looking at me this way, if you turn it this way, I mean, if you're subscribed to me already, this isn't going to count. But if you're not subscribed to me, then every time, because of AI, every time we say like subscribe in a video, the subscribe button lights up like with rainbow colors. So like, make sure you subscribe to this video. Did it light up? Let me know in the comments if it lit up, because I just think that's the coolest thing in America. But so I guess I'm supposed to say that now. I never say that. So like, if you like this video, give me a like, share it with your friends. And if you want to know the next time I post, subscribe to this channel or whatever. That feels so awkward saying that. Anyway, but that's been your soul session for the month of June, Aquarius. I feel like I should do like gists for everybody. Join my network. If I do extra stuff and worksheets, I'm going to put it up there before I put it up on the channel. But I don't know. I feel like everyone needs a gist this month. But anyway, I love your freaking face, Aquarius. I'm going to stop thinking out loud. I love your